These two coaches, Dick Motta of Washington on the left and Lenny Wilkins of Seattle on the right, are architects of one of the most amazing climaxes in the history of professional basketball. They have brought the Bullets and the SuperSonics all the way to the championship series.
The NBA on CBS. Today's championship game is sponsored by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. Avis, the We Try Harder car rental company. And by all the new 1978 Chevrolets, now at your Chevy dealers everywhere.
From the Seattle Center Coliseum in Seattle, Washington, CBS Sports brings you the NBA World Championship Series. It's the Washington Bullets against the Seattle SuperSonics. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brent Musburger, and never in my wildest dreams did I think I would stand before you on this Sunday and say for the championship, we've got Washington and Seattle. Two amazing turnarounds by these ball clubs, Dick Motta and Lenny Wilkins, and I'll promise you one thing. You are about to see some of the toughest basketball you have ever viewed on television, particularly underneath Wes Unseld, Elvin Hayes, Marvin Webster, Paul Silas. Now, the two who are working with me are Rick Barry and Steve Jones. Rick?
Thank you very much, Brent. Steve, both clubs playing excellent ball to get into the finals. What about the Bullets?
Well, no question about it. Elvin Hayes is the acknowledged leader of this team, but the man that makes them go is Bobby Dandridge. And if he plays well, Washington Bullets will win.
As far as the Sonics are concerned, a lot of diversification in their offense. They have 6 players capable of scoring 20 points or more, but the man I feel who may be the difference in this series is the old veteran, Paul Silas, coming off the bench. Now back to Brent and the starting lineups.
Thank you, Rick. The starting lineups. At center court, Dandridge, Hayes, Unseld, Henderson, and Greavy will open for Motta. John Johnson, Sikma, Webster, Williams, and Dennis Johnson will open for the Sonics. A couple of points to keep in mind. Generally, in a championship series, the home team gets 2 games at home. Not so here. Seattle must go into Washington Thursday night. This game is critical for Seattle wearing the white uniforms. The series goes 1-2-2. Also, keep in mind the Sonics have not lost at home in 20 games. Washington, the last team to beat them. Greavy has got the Bullets on the board. Jack Sikma, the only rookie starting, puts up Seattle's first shot, and Unseld with his first rebound in this championship series. And oh, how Wes wants it. He is 0-8 in championship play. Greavy, 35, transformed from a forward to a guard. The Big E, Elvin Hayes, and the Bullets are 2 of 2 at the start of game 1.
Washington's defense, their offense has been much better than they anticipated early in the basketball game. Seattle will have to play better.
Johnson goes into Marvin Webster, who turns around on Unseld, and it's 4-2 Washington.
You got a good indication there, I think, of what Wesley Unseld plans on doing to Marvin Webster. He was really manhandling him there. Just watch the play here, see just what happened. See right there, Marvin Webster giving a little bit back to Wes Unseld.
Bobby Dandridge, who played so well against Julius Erving, goes left side now to Tommy Henderson. Gus Williams is on him. Here's E, his second shot. Seattle will control it. 2 strong rebounding teams. Dennis Johnson, 24, and here's John Johnson, 27. Webster is 40, and the whistle is blown against Wes Unseld. Darrell Garrettson working with Ed Rush.
Well, the officials are right on these plays, and in most playoff competition, they're not going to let any fouls be called early. Unseld has his hands all over them, as Sikma did down at the other end. We got a quick whistle.
John Johnson is short and gets a second chance. Sikma tapped it to Webster. Knocked away by Greavy. Dennis Johnson controls. How the referees work this game early may determine the outcome. These are 2 tough physical teams inside. Sikma runs the wheel around. Hayes is picked off. Unseld on the switch.
That time, Wes Unseld ran right underneath Jack Sikma. Could have easily been called for a foul.
Greavy gets the lead ball and underneath to Elvin, who is now 2 of 3, and it's 6-2 Bullets.
Very important for Elvin Hayes to get off to a good start in the basketball game. Normally when he plays well, the Bullets get off to a flying start, and he's going early.
Greavy pressuring Dennis Johnson, and too much, says Rush. And of course,
let me be honest with you. This game played about 2 or 3 years before I was born. But it's always good to go back and see the skills that happened beforehand. Tell me, did you see this game live? Do you remember it? Which team was the team that you was rooting for? And who was your favorite player?
neither team in the penalty, so the ball taken out of bounds on the side.
Watch the pressure here. Now watch Greavy with the hands. Right there, he's got his hands on it, gives Dennis a little bit of a shove. The officials are not going to allow that to continue in this ball game. Calling it very close.
Webster is out high away from the basket. Now he puts it on the floor against Unseld. Jump shot is off, and Hayes was backing Sigma out for that rebound. Good muscle by E. Williams taking Henderson. Hayes comes around, and there's Sigma. Williams dove in for the steal, leaving Henderson alone inside, and here's Unseld.
Bullets have had excellent ball movement. Seattle's defense, and Eddie Wilkins is going to call a timeout to make sure that they tighten it up.
They gambled a bit that time, and they gave up a field goal as a result. So as Steve Jones told you, Lenny Wilkins wants to regroup that defense. Three years ago, it was the Golden State Warriors and the Washington Bullets for the championship. Rick Barry leading the Warriors. Phil Chenier in civilian clothes, a starting guard for the Bullets. The Warriors blew them out in 4 straight games, and the scheduling was identical to this series. 1 game at home for Washington, then to the Cow Palace for 2, and the Warriors were quickly up by 3. Sigma comes up on Elvin Hayes. John Johnson had it knocked away. Henderson working on him on the baseline. 8-2 Bullets lead the Sonics, 9:16 to go in the first.
If you ask me, it looks like Jack Sigma is a little tentative about what he's doing out there. It's pretty good competition out here, championship series for a rookie.
He picked that time, and Williams stayed right with the shot.
Gus Williams has been a player that's gotten off the mark early for them against Denver. He had 9 and 7 points early in the early going of the basketball game, and that got Seattle going at home.
Unseld gets it from Dandridge and puts it in on the toss.
Marvin Webster intimidated that time.
Henderson signaling the defense and then goes to Williams, the ball man. Gus shot well against Denver in the last 2 games, up with that jump shot high on the glass, and Webster is there for an offensive rebound.
Seattle continuing to do well on the offensive board, something they did exceptionally well against Denver.
And Seattle was back that time well on defense. The Bullets, Dandridge breaking on the wing as he likes to do, could not get an easy one. Greavy now inside of Dennis Johnson up high and taken down by Webster, working off the glass on both ends. Lead now to Williams. Dandridge is there. Henderson coming in behind. Gus with that body control, and John Johnson 2 offensive rebounds in a row, but they only convert 1. And now quickly it's Henderson at the other end. Off to Greavy. Webster comes out on him, and Greavy hits it.
Those are the types of shots that Kevin Greavy is going to have to get off against Dennis Johnson to get down and get quickly, because Johnson did an excellent job against David Thompson.
10-6. Bullets lead. 8 minutes to go. First quarter. You'll see Kevin Greavy at halftime. A horse. Dennis Johnson goes back door and missed the layup. Greavy is there to clean it up, and he stepped out of bounds, and he go back to the Sonics.
I can honestly tell you that it's a lot of errors going on. Tell me, was this something on a regular basis, or is it just, pretty much within this game?
Just a super play that time by Dennis Johnson. He made the most difficult play with getting open. Then he had the easy layup and was looking for the defenders, and it threw his timing off.
A second chance for the Sonics, who had a golden opportunity that time. They appear to be a little tight here in the early going. The Bullets have not played in 8 days. On the steal, it's Henderson. And Williams in the backcourt is on him. They'll come to the free throw line as a result of a backcourt foul. 2 team fouls against both teams, but that one in the backcourt will come to the line.
There's really no excuse for that, Brent. That was just a breakdown as far as the team running their offensive play. You see Henderson come up with the steal there. Gus was out of position. He was forced to try to come to the ball. Somebody should have set a screen on someone else. You should not be able to get the ball in bounds on a baseline situation.
5-point Washington lead as the result of that free throw. Henderson, drafted originally by Atlanta. Consistent season, isn't it? Hits both free throws. pressure in the backcourt, but it appears to be a token, although Greavy and Henderson are picking up the ball as they come across the line. Williams directing Lenny Wilkins' attack. Now Sigma. Elvin Hayes slapping away at the ball. Dandridge is on John Johnson. Defense by the Bullets is tight. Webster backing in. Unseld tried to draw the offense. Couldn't, and Webster puts it away.
Anytime Marvin Webster can get the ball down in that deep, Wes Unseld's going to be in big trouble because he can't jump. Webster's already 7'1", and he's only 6'8".
Webster trying hard to seal Unseld away from the offensive board. Dandridge is there with John Johnson. Goes to the glass, up high over Webster's arm. Sonics come back. They can pull to within 2, trail by 4. Johnson is short, has it knocked away, and here's Kevin Greavy in the middle. Comes around Sigma. Top of the circle, now it's Henderson who glides inside, and Sigma came back on the ball. John Johnson's off to Gus Williams. Lead pass now to Dennis Johnson. Bullets right back, not giving the Sonics time. Here's Elvin Hayes. In and out. Webster controls, and you can just see the intensity underneath the glass. Sonics can tie it. Williams is sealed up by Hayes. Here's Henderson in a foot race, but John Johnson stays with him. Into the left hand goes Henderson. A great effort by Tom Henderson. Drew the foul and hit the layup.
That's just great individual effort. There you saw him on the spin move. He goes through the basket. John Johnson started to fall before the contact was there, and because he was moving, once the contact was made, he picked up the foul. If he had held his ground, he very possibly could have picked up the offensive foul in that situation. But that's great individual effort on the part of Tom Henderson.
Bob Dandridge has not scored so far for Washington.
One thing, been watching what Washington's been doing on defense, Brent and Steve, is that the situation where Elvin Hayes guarding Jack Sigma, when the ball is on the strong side and Sigma goes away from it, Elvin just zones up in the middle. If they could swing the ball quickly to Sigma, he would get wide open shots. Elvin is not going out to play him at all away from the ball.
The Bullets, when they operated out of Baltimore, lost 4 straight in 71 to Milwaukee and the then Lou Alcindor. Then in 75, 4 in a row to the Warriors. They have turned it over at the Seattle end, so it'll now go to those Bullets.
Seattle has its toughest times when they really have to come down and set up. They're not a good perimeter shooting team, but they will put the ball up a lot, crash the boards, and this is what Washington wants to do, make them run their offense, not get into a wide-open game.
Bullets are up by 5, and then now make it 7 as Unseld gets open.
Simple screen down play. That time Marvin Webster went to jump out on the guard who was getting screened down by Wes Unseld. Unseld slipped inside.
5:40 to go, first quarter. Unseld goes back on Webster. Hayes fronting him, backed into Marvin, and they really worked Webster over that time, and Hayes didn't like the foul call. Technical on Elvin Hayes. A technical foul, and Mata is furious.
I can look at that and tell there's obviously a bunch of crap right there. Tell me your thoughts about that call in the comments.
It's on Hayes, and Mata was all over Ed Rush.
I have to say one thing on that last play. Wes Unseld was all over. Watch Wes Unseld on him. Watch Wes Unseld when he does to Marvin Webster. Now watch Hayes come back into the picture here. Here's Hayes playing, and look at Unseld, what Unseld's doing. He's just pushing and shoving. Actually, if a foul was called, Elvin had a right to be upset.
Williams makes the free throw. It is 17-11. Gus Williams hit the technical free throw.
And Elvin really had a right to be upset. He didn't commit the foul. Wes Unseld was just absolutely manhandling Marvin
They've got to restrain Mata. Bernie Bickerstaff with an arm yanks him away. He wanted to go back after Ed Rush a second time.
You can see how physical this game is going to be and what Wes Unseld is doing out there. It's just incredible.
Unseld has it in his mind to make sure that Marvin Webster is not going to go 40-plus minutes tonight. He's bumping him just like he'd bump a tank. He's been on him from the opening minute.
5 minutes and 34 seconds to go in quarter 1 of the championship series. Game 2 Thursday night, 9 p.m. from Landover, Maryland, home of the Bullets. Williams lost control. Dandridge was bumping on him, and Gus could not keep
Let's
it.
watch this play here. Watch Wes Unseld. Now watch what he does right here to Marvin Webster. Look at what he does with the body. He's just doing a number on him.
Williams pressuring Henderson in the basketball. Elvin Hayes and Sigma using his body against him, and Hayes hits his 3rd field goal here in the first quarter, 19-11. It's an 8-point Bullet lead. And they do not appear to be that rusty after that long layoff, having eliminated Philadelphia before Seattle could dispose of Denver. They've had a couple of tough practice sessions this week under Mata. Webster Bumps Unseld off and missed the turnaround, but Sikma at the offensive board.
Elvin Hayes did not block out. Elvin's a great jumper, and many jumpers like that do not box off. They use their jumping ability, and that time it hurt him.
Mata extremely animated in front of the Washington bench, almost at midcourt.
It appears that every time down there.
To be honest with you, even though I'm not as familiar with the teams and the people on the teams, I am very happy with the energy that they're putting forth, you know, with putting the ball back into play.
They're trying to get the ball in deep to Elvin Hayes to work on the rookie Sikma, who has been known to get in foul trouble, and if they can get him on the bench, that really is going to hurt the Supersonics.
There are 3 team fouls before, and that whistle was blown against Jack Sikma, the rookie.
That's the second foul on Jack Sikma, and both times trying to prevent Elvin Hayes from getting the ball, and they are calling it. Paul Silas is up off the bench, and we're going to see him right now.
Lenny Wilkins, before the game, was telling us, Brent, that Paul has done some very good defensive jobs against Elvin. Let's see what happens.
Well, he had to move in a hurry just coming across the sideline. They didn't give Silas any time to set up defensively, and Hayes has hit it again. 8 points. Freddie Brown talking to his coach, Lenny Wilkins. Webster far away from the basket. And that's where Washington would love to keep him. Dennis Johnson with Greavy flying out. And here's Dandridge with control for the Bullets, and 4:05 to go first quarter. Kevin Greavy's left-handed shot from the left corner is good, and it is 23-13. That is a 10-point Washington lead, and Wilkins will go for some instant offense. Again, this game is critical for the Supersonics, who must go to Landover for games 2 and 3. Johnson underneath. Hayes is there. Foul call by the outside man. And here's that instant offense. Downtown, Freddie Brown.
Here's the play again. You see Wes Unseld battling Webster. You see Hayes drop in the middle of the zone up as soon as the ball goes the other way. Caught Dennis Johnson on the left part of the arm, picking up the foul. But Elvin is going to zone up the entire ball game, trying to help defensively.
He has no problem now with Silas in a basketball game. If he's guarding him, he can just drop back and help out on everybody that's coming around. Hayes is a good leaper. He'll see like basket off.
4 points for Dennis Johnson here in the first quarter. Freddie Brown will take Henderson, and Dennis Johnson stays with Greavy. And John Johnson is doing a good job against Dandridge so far, and the Bullets are not getting in the ball much. Turnaround, it's Elvin Hayes is short. They're going to have to involve Dandridge. They cannot stick with one man, even though they're up now, 23-15. Brown rubs off his man and goes to the jumper.
Little simple screen. Defensive man should have jumped out and picked Freddie Brown up. You don't let Freddie Brown come off the screen.
Dandridge has the ball now, and John Johnson is right with him. Johnson played well against the Nuggets. Inside to Unseld. Up for the layup.
Amazing thing, though, is Wes Unseld has gotten 3 layups inside. Normally, Webster blocks all of those shots, and he was very effective against Denver. He has not gotten anything against Unseld.
Wright will check in for Dick Mata.
Watch this play right here. Now watch Paul Silas, what he does to Elvin Hayes. This gives him a quick little shove like he's blocking for the quarterback. The official's right on top of it. We are going to have some physical confrontation here this afternoon, so stay with us.
You want to hear something that's crazy? I'm sitting here watching this video, and I don't know if you paid attention to it, but the guy that shot the ball off to the side in the corner, I'm thinking it's 3 points. And then when I looked it up, come to find out the 3 ball was not, implemented into the game yet. So even though he shot 3, that was still a 2. Man, that was shocking. I didn't know that.
Can Affirmed win the Triple Crown? You'll find out on CBS on the afternoon of June 10th. Jimmy the Greek will be along at halftime. We'll get his odds. What a magnificent horse he was yesterday in the Preakness, as Alydar again came up just a bit short. Could it be Secretariat and Sham all over again? We'll find out on the afternoon of June 10th. Here we are, Game 1 of the NBA World Championship Series in Seattle. The Bullets in their dark road uniforms are ahead 25-17. Larry Wright whom I had told you was getting ready to come in, is now working in the backcourt with Kevin Greavy. Freddie Brown will take him. And John Johnson is just shadowing Dandridge's every move, and it is Elvin Hayes who's taken over that offense. It's 25-17. The Sonics were down by 10, remember, 23-13. Trying to make a run. Brown with a height advantage on right. Wants to back him in. Now Webster goes to the glass, and Brown hits it. 2 in a row. And there is Mitch Kupchak sitting alongside Phil Chenier. He'll be checking in soon for Dick Motta. 2:15 to go. Brown on the steal. Wright circles back. It's 1 against 1. Brown missing, and Unseld sealed off Silas, and now it's Elvin Hayes 2-on-2, and Greavy gives it up. It'll go to the Sonics.
You see how Wes Unseld got that ball out. He is probably one of the greatest outlet passes off the rebound anybody I've seen. Without any effort at all, he flicks that thing to half court.
Johnson coming up, and Kevin Greavy awaits him. We're inside of 2 minutes, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner. Greavy checks for the pick, and here's Marvin Webster. Unseld. John Johnson comes around and goes to the left baseline and drilled one.
Fred Brown coming in a ball game and getting a couple quick hoops seems to have been a catalyst and really got the Sonics going, and they're back in the game, and their defense is picked up because of it.
Full to within 4 points. Unseld was out high to pick. Brown trails right inside, and credit the big man, Wes Unseld. Rick told you about the outlet passes. He can also set some of the meanest picks in the NBA.
Only takes 3 steps to get around them.
Away from the ball. Larry Wright down low with 1:14 to go in the first quarter. And now the Bullets are up over that limit. So I wonder if Wright can handle Brown, and Dick Motta and Bernie Bickerstaff are conferring on the side. They must be wondering about the same thing right now.
The best way to play Fred Brown is to try and deny him the basketball and make him work real hard before he gets it. Once he gets it, he's virtually unstoppable. He's a better jumper and very, very tricky. He's got a lot of tricks.
Hits the free throws. Oh, a pair of field goals and 2 free throws, and it's a 4-point game again with the Bullets leading, and we're coming down to the 1-minute mark in the first quarter. Unseld gave it right back to Wright. Webster was out to intimidate the shot. Dennis Johnson ball on the floor. Had trouble controlling. Now he's got it, but the Bullets are back on defense, and here's Brown. He feels it. Now it's Elvin Hayes, and again, let me point out that Bobby Dandridge has not seen that much action on offense. Wright with his quickness to the basket. Great move by Larry Wright that time. Seized the opening and went to it.
Penetration has really hurt the Sonics so far in their defense. Wright and Henderson, when he was in the ball game, have been able to get inside that seam and create a lot of havoc.
Inside to Dennis Johnson, who goes down the middle, and Paul Silas.
See how smart he is that time. Hayes went to help out, and Paul just followed him right to the hoop, picked up the offensive board and basket.
Bobby Dandridge couldn't get to the baseline and turn the corner. John Johnson was there. Last 15 seconds, 4-point Washington lead. They have played well after that long layoff. Here's Dandridge. Unseld battling. He's got it again underneath. And there's the strength of Wes Unseld.
He didn't jump.
Can jump. 280 pounds.
The end of the first quarter as we open the NBA World Championship Series between Lenny Wilkens, Seattle SuperSonics, and the Washington Bullets of Dick Motta.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. This game is a little bit different than I thought it was going to be. I thought, that it was going to be a lot slower. I thought it was going to be, I thought the video was going to be a little messed up, a little distorted, to be honest with you. But it's a good, clean video. They have a lot of energy. I can seriously watch basketball from the 70s and maybe even the 60s compared to today's basketball. Even though I'm still waiting to see who is good in the mid-range, who is, great at free throws, who is, even though the 3-ball isn't, in play, but who's better at the 3-ball as well as handles. Now, handles, I'm seeing that everyone is pretty much terrible at it, but, it's still early in the game. Be sure to like, share, watch more videos, and subscribe to the channel.